Today I want to have a chat to you about my crested sucks in my city. So this is my longest and favourite crested succulent. Now it doesn't look that big, it's been hacked back a lot of times to try to stop it from falling over. But what's starting to happen to it now, over the last 6 months it hasn't really grown all that much. It's stayed about the same size, got a little bit tighter but hasn't grown. And part of that is because it's growing these huge rosettes and putting all of its energy over here into this standard format of the plant. So I'm a little bit concerned that it's going to start to revert to this shape. So as much as I don't want to cut it, I'm definitely cutting this little rosette here, and I might cut this one here, but probably not today because it's going to take me a while to deal with my feelings on that. So over here you can see that from the same stalk we have the crested and we also have the round stalk. So I'll try and give you my very non-scientific explanation of what a crested succulent is and how this happens. So you have your regular round stalk, which is your cells just stacking on top of each other or beside each other in their regular way, and forms a regular rosette on top. And then you have here with the crested where the cells form side by side by side by side, and you get a repeat of that, of this cell stack basically. And what happens is those stalks just go up side by side and keep making this big flat paddle here, and then on top of every single one of those vertical sets of cells it's trying to make a rosette. So they're just going to keep clumping together for as wide as this paddle ends up being. So, alright, let's cut this first one off, and I'm just going to show you how I do that before I give you a quick tour of my other succulents. So what I want to do is get my scissors, hopefully you can see that. I want to get my scissors as close to the base as possible, and the good thing is I've got some roots coming off the bottom of the rosette, so it should propagate very easily. My scissors in there. Okay, so you'll see we've got our freshly cut end in there, and yes, that's lots of leaves that have fallen, and several of those are growing little plants. Whether it'll be a crested or a normal rosette, you never know till the plant grows. So this one here has got some gorgeous little roots growing right out the side, so I'm going to give this a few days for this end to callus, which means this green bit on the end is going to go brown and dry, and then I'm going to plant it so that that root is in the ground, and this one will grow into a new plant. Now you also can propagate the paddle part of the crested part of the succulent. I'm not going to cut this one yet because I want to give it a chance to have a bit more of a growth spurt before I groom it again. I want to show you a couple of the others that I've propagated from that exact plant. So this one here, really healthy, doesn't get a huge amount of sun, just about an hour or so a day, gets plenty of water, so it's nice and green and healthy. This one here is a little bit more distressed. It's been in the same pot for quite a few years. The dirt's probably starting to get, well, I can guarantee the dirt in there is probably pretty compact and root bound. There is no drainage hole in this one. You can see it's starting to rust, so the plant might start to experience some negative signs from that soon. So I probably will repot this plant soon, but you can see slightly sort of pinker shade than the other one that I just showed you, and this one here is pinker again. My dad's got one in his garden that is almost entirely pink because it's distressed in full sun. So this one here, this is a graptoveria. This one's a hybrid crested that I just picked up recently. I've put it in with some of my miniatures because it seems like it's a smaller form. This one here, just another baby or cutting off a, well, I think it's either an Echeveria or it's a graptoveria similar to this one, but the larger form. Little snowman. See this one here, very, very small baby. It's only really taken root in the last month or so, so it's summer at the moment, it's not going to grow a huge amount. This one here, this one is actually recently just taken as a cutting from this one just here, which I bought and was extremely top heavy. It was almost falling over and breaking, so I've cut it from this section here, so as you can imagine it was quite a mature crested. So it's starting to callus in a number of different places, which is how they harden their stalk so that they can hold all that extra weight. There's another one here that I picked up recently, and this one's a really good example of how a crested can appear healthy and then just really not be. So I paid a good $15 for this one, thinking that it was going to be beautiful. And when I got home, this was all full when I bought it. When I got home, I started pulling at some of the yellow leaves, and they actually weren't attached to any stalk. They were dying. Some of them were growing new plants on the end, so we've got plenty of new ones. But you can see in here, this stalk is just completely black, and hang on, I'll try and get a better, here we go. It's completely black and it's completely calloused over, trying to hold the weight. It's actually no longer providing any nutrients to the plant. So if you see this, I can pull almost the entire plant up out of the ground, and all of this stalk here is essentially dead and trying to send out new roots. So this plant is only surviving on a very small root system at the moment, and it desperately needs repotting. So we're going to do that another time. I just thought I'd show you my last one. This one is probably my second favourite. We're allowed to have favourites. So this one here has been in this jar for nearly for nearly 2 years. You can see it's got a gorgeous, really healthy flat paddle going on in there. It's got another little plant coming off the side. Every now and again we get some yellowing leaves around the bottom where the plant starts to drink from its own reserves, and that's how I know it's thirsty and it's ready for a drink. So I hope you have enjoyed a little bit about crested succulents today. If you've got any questions or if you've got any suggestions or comments, please pop those in the comments below.